Friedman's photographs appeared in all Israeli newspapers. His satisfaction was great. Catching Eijkman was a crowning achievement of his several years of work and search. Preparations for a court trial began.
After Eijkman was caught, Lothar Hermann turned to Friedman and said, "Where are my $10,000? And Friedman went to the Prime Minister, Golda Meir, and he convinced her that Lothar Hermann is a man, and Israel paid $10,000 to Lothar Hermann.
There were dramatic moments during the trial procedures. Some of the questioned people used to faint. Eijkman didn't plead guilty. He claimed persistently that he only had executed orders. A man who had supervised transports of Jews from all over Europe to death camps was finally sentenced to death. In this cell of the prison in Tel Aviv, on the 1st of June 1962, at 2 a.m., he was hanged. His body was cremated and the ashes scattered over the Mediterranean Sea. Today, in the room where Eijkman spent the last weeks of his life, there is a prison laundry and a few telephones for the prisoners. He was not here during the war, and he didn't experience this nightmare. But he knows about each concentration camp. He listened to thousands of stories and confessions of people who had waited here for death. Here, the Nazis murdered his mother, sister and brother. Morning and evening assemblies, hunger, food rations, medical experiments. He knows these barracks, gas chambers, this world fenced off with barbed wire. Flowers at the monument of the Warsaw Ghetto heroes. In the ghetto, the Germans killed 500,000 Jews. For Israel and the national consciousness of Jews, the uprising in the ghetto is of an exceptional value. Israel as a state was born in the ruins of the Warsaw Ghetto, in combat and in blood. Krakow, the Jewish burial place. There was a big ghetto in this city, a death enclave.
Tu masz korespondencję, co tyś do mnie pisał od 46. To specjalnie dla ciebie załatwiłem. Wziąłem to, zjadłem, tak. Oryginału zrobiłem ci fotokopię, żebyś miał, bo to dla ciebie to.
Nam nie wolno zapomnieć to, co było. I przez wszystkie lata do dnia dzisiejszego, cokolwiek ja robię, to idzie w tym kierunku nie zapomnieć. Dlaczego? Bo jeśli zapomnieć, to ono się może powtórzyć.
Friedman engaged himself in the campaign against the German Parliament Act of Expiation of Nazi crimes. When asked about his greatest success, he mentions catches Eijkman and the struggle against this law. He goes to Jerusalem, not only the capital of Israel as a center of political life, but also as a religious center. He activates the members of Knesset, convinces and gives them arguments. He talks to Prime Minister Begin, flies to the USA, and together with Senator Yavitz, induces American congressmen to resolve an appeal condemning the German project. He visits Bonn, takes part in the parliamentary session. Success. The proposal of the new act is rejected with 35 votes. These crimes should not be forgotten. It's impossible to forget them. Today, Friedman, with the same passion with which he hunted Nazi criminals, organizes exhibitions and lectures at universities and schools. He often visits the university in Haifa. He made a gift to the university library of many important documents and books. He talks to young people, tells them what happened to the Jewish nation during the Second World War, talks about street raids, death camps, gas chambers, and ghettos. He tells them the story of the hunger, fear, and death. Despite the fact that he's 81, he's in good shape. He does jogging and swimming every day, not always alone. In the Sport and Recreation Center in Haifa, he has many friends who, like him, like sport and the active way of living. His whole life was like that, filled with work. Now he deserves the honors and awards offered to him. He's often invited by various authorities and organizations. He's asked to tell the story of his life, to share his experiences, to report the motives of his activity, and to describe the long way he went to find himself in Israel. First there was the need to take revenge, then to punish the culprits. Now his task is to preserve the memory. He wants us not to forget what happened during the greatest world war.
Tobia Friedman is a senior citizen in the city of Haifa and he deserves all what he deserves, the best.
Ja myślę, że on jest prawdziwy bohater żydowski.
My jego lubimy, dlatego że on nie szuka jak się nazywa te panele na nie być oficerem, a generałem. On chce tylko jedno, żeby ta przeszłość, ta tragedia, to była od 1939 roku do 1945-1946, żeby nikt nie zapomniał. Ja znam pana Tobia, ja myślę 45 lat. Ja znam jego jako patriota. On jest patriotem polskim, on jest też patriotem żydowskim.
Skromny, widocznie spokojny, jakaś siła wewnętrzna w nim jest.